on this section of Learn, Share, Repeat, I'm bringing back in TT. How are you there, mate?
Yeah, good, Robett. Good.
Learn, Share, Repeat. What I have on my bracelet is, as you can see, it's a little R dot and it says Learn, Share, Repeat. Big thing that I'm extremely passionate about for myself is, find out what people are into. What are they digesting? What are they consuming? Where are they learning? What are they learning specifically? Is it podcasts? Is it articles? Is it books? Is it YouTube channels? Is it who knows what? So TT is the weapon extraordinaire. Anytime someone rings 0800 Today FM to try and ask me a question, try to get through, you've got to try and get through TT. Oh, he's a tough man to please, this old TT. He's a tough man. I'll start this way. What are you currently consuming the most that is helping you learn the most? TT?
This one's a bit out of left field, I think. But I went through a relatively significant breakup about 8 months ago. And so I've been consuming a lot of relationship improvement content, I suppose you could say.
Yeah.
Because it was quite a long relationship, and I'm over the past few months I've been reflecting on it and trying to learn what I can from it, to apply to my next one. So I've been listening to a podcast called The Love Chat, and it's basically about taking a step back from a relationship and trying to look at it with an unemotional, objective viewpoint.
Very difficult when you're in a long relationship or when you've got lots of emotions. Very difficult, TT.
Absolutely. And so that's been the sort of journey for me over the past 5 to 6 months. And so that's really, if I'm looking at what I've consumed the most in terms of trying to learn, it would be, that and another couple of podcasts talking about how to have a healthy relationship, not just romantic relationships, friendships, work relationships, all that sort of thing, because I've noticed that they're really important, having good relationships.
Did you find it interesting that you went searching for answers to get better about emotional stuff after you lost something, not when you've got it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's and that's something that they kind of they highlight in some of these podcasts and episodes, is that sometimes you need to hit that rock bottom, I suppose, for lack of a better word, but something needs to happen to you for things to change. And one of the interesting points that was made in a few of these podcasts is often it's the person that gets broken up with who does more self-improvement than the one that does the breaking up.
Ooh.
And so I was broken up with, and I'm not angry. There's no sort of there's no negative emotions there. But so I immediately went into what did I do wrong? How can I improve myself mode? And obviously you can't go too far with that. It's not all your fault. There's things on both sides, but yeah, I think having been the one that was broken up with, I was far more and am far more motivated to maybe try right some of the things that I may have done wrong, which led me on a journey of seeking out content to help me do that.
Interesting. So you basically saying, those who grow are the ones that actually it happens reactionary to them, and as a reaction defensively, they go onto offense to try and make themselves better. If they just break up, they just kind of go do their thing. Interesting.
Yeah,
I think you are kind of right though, because if you think of a lot of other relationships I've seen, is partners break up and one of them just goes to the gym and goes savage and goes beast mode. I mean, is that you, TT? You did.
That's me. Well, 2 months after we broke up, I ran 100 kilometers.
Let's go.
So, but it needs to be balanced, right? Because it's easy to leave a relationship having been dumped and go, woe is me. I was the problem. The ex is great. I wish I was still with them. But you need to balance that with a healthy amount of self-reflection and looking at what you did wrong, but then not putting all the blame on yourself, because it's not all you. And I think that's what I'm sort of getting out of this content is learning to find that midpoint between, let's look at the things I can improve, but also you're a great person as well. It wasn't all your fault. There were things you did really well and they didn't do so well. So that's what I'm learning from at the moment. Yeah.
100K runs, bit of self-discovery, TT, deceptively deep for a Saturday, mate. I like it. Well done, you. Good on you. And so just for those that are tuning in, this is Learn, Share, Repeat, figuring out what people are consuming to learn the most. What was the name of the podcast again? Where can they check it, or what can they do?
The one I would recommend, it's called The Love Chat. It's wherever you get your podcasts. And they're very short episodes. They typically focus on one aspect. So they'll be like, one episode might be, should I text my ex?
No.
And usually the answer is it's a resounding no. But we won't.
What about should you text your ex drunk? Maybe if you're drunk. No. Sorry.
The answer is no.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I just double check. Cool. Good section on Learn, Share, Repeat, TT. Appreciate that. Mega. After the break, we're going to be having a Ask Robett. After the break, Ask Robett. Text through now 3920. Ask me anything. You've got, I think, about 2 minutes until the break goes through. It will come through on the thing, and I can sit here and answer any of your questions. Any business questions, small business starting up, entrepreneurial stuff. Anything you'd like, maybe relationship advice. Don't know if it'll be right, but I'll give it a crack. Text through now 3920. This is Robett Live episode 304 on Today FM. The time now is 12:54, 4:54 in San Francisco, which means only 6 minutes until my apple juice. See you in a sec, team. Giddy up.
The sunny season.
$40 to 50% off at Briscoe's. In Sunday, tea season exclusions apply.
His goal, to destroy the tall poppy syndrome.
His platform, Today FM.
This is Robett Live.
Call 0800 Today FM.
Back into it, dreaming. 0800 Today FM if you want to ring through and say what's up. Try and get through the dark gates of TT to talk to me. It's 12:56 Auckland, 4:56 San Francisco time. Today FM Robett Live episode 304. And this is us. We've got some text coming through. Really good content. Well done, Prod. I
think I'm Prod, right?
Prod. I think TT. He's like next time they come through, it's going to say TT.
Yeah, call me TT, please.
That's right. TT needs the props. We've got another little comment says, always loved your podcast, but this is next level. Well done, bro. Loving it. Thanks, Gav. Appreciate it. The weird, ironic thing about this is we're actually taking away all the visuals, and we need to keep thinking, Paul Henry was saying it's theater of the mind. So we're trying to do theater of the mind with voice. And we've got Ask Robett coming up now. TT, what have we got?
We do. We've got someone that's just texted in, Robett. They say, hey, team, at what point do you switch off for the day or week? And how do you manage to do this, even with an intense workload like yourselves? How do you actually take time out for yourself when your work is so closely linked with your passions?
Great question.
It's a good one.
It's a little deep, but it's a little fair, and it's cool. One of the biggest dangers or tough bits around being an entrepreneur is your brain doesn't stop, and so everything's always bubbling away, and you've got ideas and things to do. So the key things are integrating certain pieces into your life, like what I do. So my phone goes on do not disturb after, I think it's like 7 o'clock. So 7 o'clock, like, do not disturb. You cannot talk to me. And it goes do not disturb into the next day until I think it's like 8 or 9 in the morning. I'm doing the whānau stuff. So that's number one, do not disturb. I don't take my cell phone into my room. I have a small voice recorder, and I put the voice recorder next to my bed, so then I'm not playing on my phone and pissing around. The one thing I do as well is your brain can't be in fifth gear the whole time. So you need to structure dedicated time for yourself, for you to be with you. And what I mean by that is I have a custom little moleskin, which is a fancy little Italian leather-bound book, and a pen, and I will go and I do planning and I write, and I constantly I set myself up almost every day of a little time that I can spend for myself to think about what's coming up next. And that's kind of what I do. You need to set structure, create space, and that is the main key for you to be able to keep balance.